Good evening, viewers. This is Church of Uganda Family Television broadcasting from Church House, Kampala, in Uganda, the Pearl of Africa. I am Dr. Robert Rutaagi, your presenter, and the producer is John Mwebembezi. The program you are viewing is Transformed Lives program, jointly produced by Church of Uganda Family Television and Full Gospel Businessmen Fellowship International Uganda. Transformed Lives program is about people, it's about families, communities, and businesses, and even nations who and which have experienced extraordinary or ordinary transformation in their lives. I was personally transformed at the age of 53 years. How I wish I was at a much younger age. For that long, I was skeptical about God, and many things were not going right in my life. But on Tuesday, the 6th of July, 1999, in my office, I was totally transformed. I received salvation, and I started knowing and enjoying God's grace and love. But today is not my day to testify. I have done it before, and I've also put it in a book which can be found in any bookshop in Kampala. In the studio, we are privileged to host Canon John Kateeba. Canon, you are most welcome.
Thank you, my brother.
You are most welcome to Church House, Church of Uganda Family Television Transformed Lives program. Tell us your story. Today is your day. Are you born again?
Yes, I am.
Glory be to God. Let us start from the beginning about your family, when and where your life began. Over to you, Canon.
Thank you, my brother, Dr. Rutaagi. We've had and interacted with Doctor for quite a number of years. We've read his book, quite transforming, and you read it, you want to read it again, especially when you are born again. So I want to tell my story. You are speaking to a married man, married to a beautiful lady called Joyce. We started our long journey 4 decades ago, and God has been very faithful.
Wonderful.
I'll reach there, but I want to begin with, where she found me.
Yes.
That's very important. I'm Reverend Canon now, Dr. John Kateeba. I come from a village called Kakonini Chamula in West Ankole, Bushenyi district. I was born to a family, Christian family. They was late, born to be with the Lord. I was called Aaron Kateeba. And my brother was called Gladys Kateeba, very passionately born again, great woman who brought us, the fear of the Lord. And she was very committed to the church and, to salvation. She converted from Roman Catholicism, and got born again and married my father.
Yes.
And she got, salvation in 1949. She used to tell us the stories. So after salvation, she was very passionate about it. So where we are one among the 7 other boys and 1 girl. And then we grew up in that kind of background.
When were you born, Canon?
I was born on 12th of July 1958.
1958.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, 20 August 1958. That's when I was born, and I grew in that way, continued serving the Lord later. But I want to give my background. I went to primary school, Chamuga Primary School, those local schools. So I go to the primary. I was in a very local church, church school in my home area, where my father was a catechist teaching there. And I grew up there, and after that I went to primary school. Very brilliant young man. I was brilliant. I was loved by teachers and from primary, I went at the secondary school.
Which primary school?
Chamunga Primary School. Chamunga. Just like Anglican. Yeah, Church of Uganda.
Yes.
And then after that, I went to the secondary school. I passed so well in 1972. Long time.
Which school was that?
Chamunga Primary.
Chamunga still.
Yes, Chamunga School. And I had been, given place in good schools, in Barai School and Chitunga. But my brother had started working, my elder brother had started working in Kampala. And my father was, the fees problems and going secondary, we were already 4 in secondary school. He said, no, this one, since your brother is now working, you better look for a way. Then my brother came and asked for a place in Mengo SS. And then I came to Mengo. And that's where I did my O-level, and he was working in Linz Marketing Board at that time.
So all the way from Bushenyi, now you're in Kampala, new life.
New life. Okay. And I remember the first time I got my dad put me on a bus to come to Kampala. I had no shoes. I had a wooden, box, and I came. And they waited for me. We were at the bus. I was there for almost 3 hours with one of our friends, now the owner of Quality Supermarket. We came together in a bus coming to Kampala. He was going to Lubiri, I was going to Mengo SS. So from that time we became friends up to now. So we came together and reached Kampala and waited and he helped us. Those days were good. When you said you are going to secondary school somewhere, they would guide you. So we were guided, and I went to Mengo. And my brother came later when I was already. We slept on a bus coming until morning.
Which bus was that?
It was UTC.
UTC. Okay.
Sorry, UTC.
Yes.
And they would give you like a concession. What was it called when you were going to school? They would not give you not pay the whole amount.
Okay.
We paid
a discount.
Some kind of discount.
Yes.
I remember those days. So
they were nice buses.
They were nice buses.
Yes.
So we came and there I started secondary school. No shoes. The second day they brought shoes from Bata. There's a Bata company that brought shoes and we tried them. I was trying shoes until I got my size. And we had stockings, very long ones. So I was so proud. I suffered for 2 weeks to walk with the shoes.
To get
to
get used to
get used.
Yes.
That was not easy.
Yeah.
But later on, anyway, to cut the story short.
But it was very exciting.
But it was very exciting.
Putting on shoes.
Putting on shoes, my friend.
I hope you are not one of those whom the story goes they would sleep in their shoes because of excitement.
At least the first night I slept in stockings, I remember.
Yeah.
I didn't put them off. That one I remember about.
You didn't want to remove them?
No, I didn't want to. I thought they would be stored, actually, because I thought they would be stored. We had a hostel.
Yes.
Well, as we came from far, they would put us in a hostel.
Yeah.
And I remember hostel. It is still there. Yeah. So that is it. Then after that, of course, getting used. I went to school. I had to learn German. I was watching the German class.
Yes.
And many other good things around. And they brought us shirts also.
So you can speak some German?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. So we put on Yamato shirts, white them, and
Made in Uganda.
Made in Uganda.
Yes.
Yes, Yamato.
Yes.
I remember, and then the shorts, special. We had special sweaters and special uniform for Mengo. Yeah. So there I was until I finished and went back home. Towards the end of after the end of my O-level, I felt a bit sick. I lost the whole year. At the end, I didn't continue. I had time to go to teacher training.
Yes.
When I went home, we started. I went to Masin teacher training.
Masindi.
Yes.
Masin Teacher Training College.
Yes.
In Masindi.
Yeah.
Okay.
I spent there 1 year. By the time I went back, there was war. I didn't go back.
Which years were those?
That was 1980. No, 1970.
79? 76.
Yes,
Yeah.
there were some problems around that time. Yeah, I don't know, I mean, and that was the time over me.
Yes.
And I was very, very young. I was
That
still
was
young. I was
71.
just getting 18.
Yeah.
And I was 18,
Yes,
getting to
yes.
19. Then I didn't go back. When I went, I remember the headmaster of my primary school then called William Kisana. He said, no, come do teaching here. I started teaching in a primary school in Bushenyi, and I was a youth leader in the church. And I joined the boys' brigade. I was very, they liked me. I was, very good, side drum. And, I remember a Michigan man called the Bagorogoza came.
Oh, the boy you are talking about, the Boys Brigade. Yes, it was very famous at that time. Yes.
He liked me, saying no. So I left the whole village church. I came to Gueranyanja to head youth and boys brigade, and and the teaching. And then they said no, you should continue here. When I was there, the diocese of Western Angore was born, and the then bishop, the new bishop liked me. Said I must, you young man, go for training in church ministry.
Yes.
You see.
Now, Canon, after that, that time, what was your attitude towards the church, towards the
church? Because my father,
yes,
though he was not really seriously born again, it was my mother who was seriously born again.
Yes.
But my father, because he knew how to read, he was like a catechist. He was not reading, he was the one reading in the church.
Yes.
Then I was also reading and had started in learning to pray. But July 12th, 1976,
yes,
that's when I accepted and I had an encounter, total encounter with me.
What happened? Tell us, Canon.
Last time, in the morning, my mother, I was leaving home, and the mother said, I remember what she said. She said, whatever you do, if you have never accepted Christ, she said it in Nyakore, this man away, water pictures of Yesu, or about. Just that.
Yes.
And I went thinking about it. And we were going in a Christian conference, Boys' Bread Conference, which was in Chivingo, in Luambara. So when I went there, and they preached, I remember Peter Chigos was the one who...
Peter Chigos?
Yes.
He's
the one who preached about young people, and he quoted verses in the Bible. I quoted Psalm 119, which says, you must walk in the light, and I remember the light, otherwise you will go to hell.
Yes.
I accepted Christ. From that time,
that's when
I went back singing, man, and tell Mom I have accepted. And she was extremely happy.
How did you feel, Canon, when you...
There was a lot of, change in my life, transformation in my life.
Yes.
And I went into a fellowship with after that. When we were in the fellowship, I remember our young old people, after giving a testimony, said, "No, young man, if you have ever done something wrong, stolen anybody's thing, take it back." I remember I had stolen a book from Mango SS.
Yes.
A physics book called, PAR.
Abbott, by Abbott.
By Abbott.
Yes.
And they contributed money for me to bring that book back to Mango.
Back to Mango?
Yes, I brought it. There was a headmaster called John Jeter.
That's what they call restitution.
Yes, there was a headmaster then. Mzungu had just left, and the headmaster John Jeter.
Yes.
I went to him, and then at assembly, he said, this young man got saved, and I showed where I picked it in the library. I still remember the corner where I hid it first before I took it. So it was like fun. They said, show where you got it from.
Yes.
I go and showed the place. It was still the same place. And they forgave me. And I said, no, but you have already, that's what the headmaster said.
Yes.
So the chaplain prayed for me.
Let's go back, Canon, about your turning point.
Yeah.
How did you feel in your whole body, in your mind, How do you compare your former life with that kind of new state of affairs that you began to experience from that day?
Mm. It's you know it's very. Sometimes I think about it's very hard to explain because in the past days I would look myself to be okay and I
Yes.
was associated with everybody and the good thing I had not learned how to these issues of smoking and but I remember there is a time when these boys gave me some beer and I tasted it and it was too bad in my mouth.
You didn't like it.
I didn't like it.
Yes, yes.
So maybe it saved me that time. But I had started, going out writing letters, also
Letters to girls.
to
you
girls, and
Yes.
being so funny, with my life.
Mm.
But when I changed, when I had that transformation,
Yes.
I really I can't explain what I was so I always wanted to be with this in the fellowship. I wanted always to talk to people who are born again. Who there were young people who were those who were saved. I remember one time they told us Mosaic Kabaza is coming speak to Scripture Union.
Yes.
I was not invited, but they were giving us stories about Kabaza and how he was born again and he was. I just walked all the way from home Mbarara. I mean Bushenyi Chamunga. I came all the way to Mbarara and I joined the group and we came to Mbarara School for that conference.
Yes.
Scripture Union. It was regional. So that transformation of being on fire, where they say anything about you would want to be there.
Yes. Now, Canon, you
That's how I
said
joined the church.
you have shared with us that your mom was a Catholic
Originally.
originally
And then converted.
and converted,
Yes, and born
and
again.
she became born again.
Yes.
Now, there are people out there in the audience who tend to think that Catholics cannot be born again. In fact, a number of times I witnessed to some of my friends, and the moment I begin testifying about salvation, they say, "But I'm a Catholic." As a theologian and as a person who is born again, what is your take on this? What should be the understanding of viewers about religion and salvation?
In fact, it's well stated that I have also had other experiences around, even in this parish where I have been serving,
Yes.
and quite a number of Roman Catholics are my friends who are in this parish here, and I have been sharing with them. They find it very hard, but those who you help to understand that Christianity is you and your relationship with God,
Yes.
and then the Bible. Their problem is they are hesitant to have the Bible speak to them.
Yes.
That they find it very, very difficult into that.
So, in your opinion, salvation is not incompatible with any religion. It depends. Yes.
Not at all. I have 7 Muslims who converted in this parish, and some of them are my friends.
Yes.
You see, when they got converted, I didn't tell them go and leave. Only 3 have left, but I have 2 who are still because they are being scared with their parents.
Yes.
But they say we found the real life, speaking, to my life.
Actually,
Then
talking.
he hides to read the Bible because he doesn't want the parent to see that he is reading the Bible. But they are actually born again.
Wonderful.
They are
Talking about
in here,
Muslims.
in the
Talking
ear.
about Muslims.
Yes.
There was a time when we were having this program on Lighthouse Television,
Yes.
and after the program, one Muslim lady from Kibuli rang me and said, Robert Rutaagi, I am a Muslim and have received salvation after listening to your program.
Yes.
And another example is the Honorable Cecilia Ogwal. She's a Catholic. She's a Catholic by upbringing,
Yes.
but she's born again.
Yeah, sure.
So if you are viewing this program and you are a Catholic or any other religion, the appeal to you is to understand that salvation is available for everybody. Now let's continue with the story, Canon. Now,
Then I was after that I mentioned to you that my bishop then, Bishop Yoram Bamunova, who really admired me and loved me as a young man leading the youth, he sent me to train
yes,
I joined, to training as a lay reader.
As a lay reader?
Yes. He sent me to train as a lay reader, and I went to Cowboy to finish the school. I found they had already, almost finished the whole time. I joined them, and very young man. I was just turning 20. And I was saying, what is this young man? What? I was the one helping all these old people, in cleaning for them their shoes and what. But anyway, I finished my course.
Yeah.
And when I finished, in 1978, he said, I want to win the cathedral at St. Peter's,
Weranyanji.
Yes.
Okay.
So I was the first lay reader when the diocese had just become my diocese.
Yes.
I was his lay reader, served in the church. I served with the then now retired, Bishop Dr. George Tibesugwa, who was my vicar and at the same time the assistant secretary. So I served there. So after serving for 1.5 years, they started the secondary school called Rionza. Then the bishop said, you young man, you're brilliant. I want you to go and be acting as a chaplain in that school.
In Rionza.
In Rionza, and teach another. There was a church attached there. So I was there. I went there for 1 year and a half, and I did interviews for going for theological training in Mukono.
Still on fire.
On fire.
Still born again.
I would not miss any mission. That was the time as I moved to Rionza, and the brethren put me aside, and I remember even in that fellowship, the late Banyanzachi and Canon Banyanzachi and Faith Beata and others said, now you are a young man born again. If you want to manage the church, you must get married.
Say that again.
You must get married.
If
you really want to manage church and
to manage church, you must get married.
And to be a young man with a testimony,
yes,
you get married. That was something new. I thought 21, I was still young. I thought served God. They are the ones who I talked over, a young girl I had met also in a conference in Barara.
In Barara.
I went and talked to her face to face, and she said, I will think about it. We never wrote letters.
Yes.
She said, I will think about it. And then I went and reported to the brethren.
She was born again also?
Born again on fire.
On fire.
Yes, she was on fire. I admired her because of that. She would talk to us about 300, youth, and give a testimony and preach and so. I admired her for that. I said, this one, I think I'd make a difference in my life. And then I reported back, and they sent some spies to find out the person I'm going to.
You mean they were trying to verify her for you?
Yes.
To make sure that you get the right girl? Okay, how were you feeling in terms of salvation and love of a young man to a young?
When I told my story talked to my mother, I said, you must look for a born again
girl.
Okay. A girl who goes with the brethren. Therefore, actually, she always wanted to say, can I talk to some locally? I always go with to help you. I said, no. I wait.
Do you know her name?
The what? The girl?
The girl.
She's called Joyce. She was called Joyce.
Joyce, I hope you're watching this program.
She's here. So Joyce, and I really to talk to this born again.
Yes.
You see, and the spied, and she also went in the gave a testimony and told the brethren in Roharo, Barara. That's where she was working.
Yes.
Then,
also from Bushenyi?
No, from Kashari.
From Kashari.
Yeah.
Okay.
In Wentanga and Kashari. So she told them. So then she told the seniors. Then Dean Canon Bamutunjire sent someone in Bweranyanji.
Yes.
And they interviewed, they asked her some people. And when she went there, and they told her, go ahead with that young. We have already known.
So she was also carrying out some investigation, verifying your.
You could not do that without, if you are born again, you would be accountable to the brethren.
Yes.
So that's.
Oh, wonderful.
Then the story started there, And they entered into sin. They are the ones they got who is going to be Kateeba among them.
Among them.
They chose then the canon John Biribwa. You should go and tell those people. You go ahead of them, and that's why the story went like that. And we got married, and so we started our journey. And it was when we were just 1 year after marriage. I came to Mukono. I did so well at my exams.
Yes.
They interviewed me. I invited me. They had even wanted me to go to Bishop Baram. The diocese said go to Bishop Baram. But but I remember a letter came all the way from Mukono then, Bishop Taka, written by Canon Enyagu then, the dean of the academic registry. He wrote and Bishop Mai that they need me in Mukono. So they changed. Instead of going to Kabare, I went to Mukono. So after 1 year, then I took my Mugore with me.
Yes.
And we were all training.
Yes.
At UC.
Wonderful.
Then Bishop Taka. So that's how we started our journey for ministry. Then after there, we were posted back to Veranang and given a parish. And, then after 1 year, I was called back to go back and do a degree.
Wonderful. Now we are going for a commercial break, and when we return, you will begin where you stopped. Viewers, you are watching Transformed Lives program coming your way from Church of Uganda Family Television Transformed Lives program, and in the studio we have got Canon John Kateeba, who has now just retired. No, not retired. You have come to Mukono.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I returned back to Mukono.
Yes. Now continue from there.
Yes, after I was
testimony.
there was a program, a degree program that had started in Mukono. Then I went for this degree program. I did my bachelor's of theology until 1987 September. And when I finished the degree, I went back to my diocese, and I was appointed to serve as deputy principal and director of studies at our Bible College, Bishop Makrista Theological College.
Where is that?
That is between Kawohe and Ventura, just in the Western Corridors.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but I didn't mention about the parishes that I worked in. I worked in before I went back to Mukono. I was at a parish in the Chapel Parish, St. Stephen. It's in Mitoma. That's where I also served there. The bishop was there.
Yes.
It was a very good place.
That is my district. Thank you.
I served there.
Yes.
Very briefly, and from there I went to Mukono and left my dear wife Joyce at the diocese, serving as Mother's Wing Secretary and the Girls Brigade. So I went there, finished my 3 years, came back, served at the Bible College. Why at the Bible College? I am very, very, very proud because there I developed a program, program which was very new in the diocese and in the province, which was called. Whenever you went there for any other program, but you would make sure that you also do another program that will help you to do O level and A level.
Yes.
So we developed that program, and many church leaders then benefited from that, and they went for teacher training. That we had a joint understanding with Kateeba then, offering a diploma in education, and some people went there, and others were able to do O level while at the training as real readers and certificate, and they came to material and other places.
Yes.
Yeah. So from there, then I also developed a program called Theological Education by Extension.
Say that again.
Theological education by extension, like
By extension.
training in ministry.
Yes.
Training while you are doing your work, but you also upgrading kind of.
Yes.
So
Continuous education.
continuous education. And it was very good. And I remember the then Provincial Education Secretary, she was called Dr. Mibo Katahwire, and the Archbishop, then Archbishop Livingston Koyo had just become Archbishop. They came to see what I'm doing.
Yes.
And they were admired, and they said, no, why don't we make this a provincial program? So they asked the bishop, Bishop Magamba, had just come, and I moved from that college. Then I came to the province.
To the province.
Yes.
In Mengo again.
Yes, in Mengo again.
Yes.
And I came, and I was at the province. In 1991, 92, the bishop, I didn't mention about that problem before, Bishop Bamunova, while was, with the late Bishop Kauma, the Bishop Kauma asked him whether he could give him a clergy who could come and serve in Kampala. You see, and Bishop Bamunova then said, I have a brilliant young man, but I didn't want him to go. But he said, you can interview him. Then I was called. Bishop Kauma interviewed me. He said, young man, we want you here. I came all the way from Kampala with my wife. Well, and he took me to Mengo.
Yes.
Mengo, St. Luke Church in Mengo, near the barracks. He wanted someone who could always have a ministry in the barracks there.
In the barracks,
yeah.
Yes.
So that you can go and preach in the barracks in English and talk to these people. I served at Mengo Church, St. Luke. It's called Luke. Mengo, I think it did for 2 years before I went for my master's in Nairobi.
Oh, you went to Nairobi?
Yes, I went to Nairobi for my master's degree.
Yes.
And after training for master's degree in Nairobi, I was given opportunity to serve in African Evangelistic Enterprise as a regional training coordinator.
Yeah.
In a place, we are staying in a place called Karen.
Okay.
So
in Nairobi, did you go with your wife?
My wife.
Yeah.
And God had blessed us with a daughter. We went together.
Yeah.
The story I didn't give you is that, being born again helped me with my wife. Because when we got married, we spent 9 years without a child.
9 years without a child. Yes.
And it was a trying moment.
That was very challenging.
Very challenging, but being born again helped us a lot, and the president it was not a problem for us. You see, until we tried with doctors, the president took us to different doctors.
And you were praying as well?
Praying, praying. Seriously, praying. And, crying, even praying in the night, I said, God, what? So, in the 9th year, God gave us that one. We got our daughter. She's called Hannah Tarema. God does not fail.
Yes, after 9 years.
After 9 years.
Wow, that must have been exciting.
It was very exciting.
Yes.
Everybody, the brethren were very excited. Anyway, that is you can see miracles that God does in our lives when you commit your life totally to Him. But if we were not born, not that we were reverend and whatever, no, that's a different story. It is one thing to have a collar around your neck, and another to be rooted in Christ.
In Christ.
I have that testimony.
Yes.
I remember one thing I can never forget. I must say it even when there's one canon and a person whom I saw was born again. President, he called me and said,
Yes.
I really hurt me so much.
Can you translate that one for
this born, I respected this great man of God.
Yeah.
I know he put me aside and said, yeah, man, now that I think it is your wife who has a problem. Are you going to leave this world without
a child?
Why don't you young people know what to do?
In
And
other
he
words,
was also scared to say it openly. But he said, can't you do it like any others? And he gave me a story of some reverends who got children out of wedlock.
yes.
He said, don't you? The other one has a child, but the other child is not him. He is not from his wife. It hurt me so much. I said, is this the way I'm going? I can't do that.
Yes.
I went and talked to my wife about it, and we felt bad. But it ended there. God, later on gave us, our own.
Yes.
Our own.
Oh, wonderful.
But with a lot of,
Yes.
miracles, God intervening in our situation. In our 8th year in marriage, I lost my brother. The one I mentioned, who brought me in Kampala, who was looking after me, who was really, he trusted me. He died with his wife and left 8 children. For us, we had not gotten ours. But
Yes.
now these 8 children are now coming into our life.
In your life, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So we shared with
okay.
our brothers.
Yes.
We shared.
They died in a car accident or
Those problems of political problems.
political problem?
Yeah.
Yes.
He died and he was.
Oh, yeah.
So because he was entering into problem with and
Yes.
anything, we wanted to be stand.
So you inherited the
Yes.
rest of the children.
Yes. And we were having 5 children in our home.
Mm.
The young ones who didn't really, some of them did not know their father so well. So when this last child started to wash things for himself
Yeah.
in Bweranyanji Primary, when he was starting P3, that's when Joyce got pregnant.
Yes. You got your
Yes.
own.
We got our own.
Wow,
And the
yeah.
story now is again different.
Mm.
When we say Basupur here, they can feel the whole house.
Mm.
All those children have finished school, they are
Wonderful.
married.
Wonderful. That's great.
So God is doing it.
Mm. Mm.
So that is the way God has used us. And I told you, from parish to theological training, from different programs. This theological education by extension program became a very big program, covered the whole of Uganda, and we were traveling, and many people got that program. There are even some who are bishops who would not have if this program would not come and lift them up.
Yes.
Yeah, so which was very good. And later on, another program, called Tent Makers.
Tent makers.
That is the first. I'm the one who developed it.
Oh, you were the man behind the tent makers?
Yes.
Actually, I escaped being one of your students.
Yes, I remember I went to go to Makerere, asking Professor Muranga and many Dr. Rugendos, and I'm
Yes.
the one who convinced them. We are people who can, do non-stipendiary training, ministers, God, men there that come and serve.
Yes.
And many people, many came, and others, it developed that. We went to Barara.
What happened to the tent makers program? Did it continue?
Yeah, I know it has continued because of.
Still continuing?
Yeah, it is still.
Yeah.
It is continuing. Later on, it was, attached to Uganda Christian University. Yeah. So when I was still at the province, they asked me to make as we were developing Uganda Christian University.
Yes.
They wanted these programs to be aligned so that they give credible,
Yes.
papers, and they are accepted.
For the benefit of our viewers, can you go into that, break it down? What is tent makers program all about?
Yeah, Tent Makers program is training for ministry, Christian ministry, while doing other professions. You are a professional somewhere, but because of your commitment in church, these people who are already preachers, teaching the Bible, study leaders, come and be equipped properly.
Yes.
You see, at a theological level, so that you teach from
A point of knowledge. Yeah.
but you also remain where you are, whether you're a medical doctor, whether you're a professor in university, so that you can either Saturday, Sunday come and help.
Yes.
That's how you see some of these guys at all states who are engineers, who are doctors. That's the way they came.
Yeah.
And that is now that program. You can do it at a diploma. And when we developed it first, it was just certificate
Mm.
for theological education.
Yeah.
But now it developed into diploma, and it can lead you into higher level.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
But then theological education by extension was also like that certificate later on when we wanted it to get, proper, authentic paper, theological paper accepted by universities elsewhere. It had to go into the university settings.
Okay.
That's why I relocated from the provincial education office.
With the Archbishop Koyoyo?
Yes, I was. I went to Mukono in 2001 when the university was starting. Then that's where I was, and I coordinated regional colleges, theological education. I know my university theological education, all these centers, Baram, Arua, Bale, all those were, I was the one coordinating all those centers.
Yes.
For 12 years.
Wonderful.
Before I left and returned to come full time in ministry and end my ministry in the parish.
In the parish.
So that's my journey as a minister, and I thank God I have worked at all levels in the church. But the challenge I see even now is, looking at ministry as just professional. Go for papers and you are a professional clergy and no. But it's different from really when you are in ministry and you are born again.
You are born again.
You are really born again. It doesn't matter wherever you are, you will serve and with integrity, and you will touch people's lives if you intend to do it. If God has called you into that and you are born again, you touch people's lives. And I testify to that. And my wife and I have done that, counseling, out to different people at different levels. Even right now, we retired last year. Retired. But up to now, we have ministry counseling. And I write the bishop devotion of every morning.
Oh, really?
Yes, and people comment from all over, which I started it during the lockdown, but it has now, I can't stop it. People say, please don't stop it.
So most of these devotionals we receive maybe are coming from you?
Yes, even today I wrote something based on Isaiah 43, and I am happy about that. And it helps me to continue reading and doing that kind of ministry. But also something about mentorship. If you have other people to mentor you and to follow you up, I thank God for those people who identified in me and said, young man, you can do something. You see something in you. And that has helped.
Would you like to mention some of those mentors who have meant a lot in your life so that we can recognize them in this program?
Yes, I remember my priest then. That time I mentioned of my headmaster, the late William Kisana. He tried me and said, hey, there's something in you. And he mentored me. And Mr. Banyogan also was a teacher. He mentored me. He looked into something in me and said, you need to go ahead. And then I remember Banyanzachi, Karan Banyanzachi, late Karan Banyanzachi. Yes, he did a lot in my life. And the very important person who has even become like my mentor up to now, retired, Right Reverend Bishop Dr. George Desmond. Recently retired.
Yes.
And Bishop William Magam. Those people did a lot in my life. Yes, to mention Bishop Omnova. Bishop Omnova, this man would prepare his sermon and he called me to read it.
Yes.
To follow it. You see, and he would make sure he would everything start well. He trusted me, he mentored me. Of course, with a lot of, he could even scare you.
I remember him very well.
Yes, this is a wrong.
Yes. Even when we were at university, he was doing his mature courses at Makerere, and he mentored quite a lot of us.
Yes. Quite interesting man. Was very well focused. So I thank God.
Yes.
Yeah. And I can't even forget the people we looked to, Bishop Muhima. You know, he did a lot when I was in my theological training. He was really very serious. He wrote again and he would help us to talk to us. And Bishop Zach, you know, Bishop Zach,
Yes.
was started preaching.
Okay.
You know, this doing it right. Do it this way.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Canon John, you have given us a wonderful testimony.
Yes.
And time is not on our side.
But I didn't
As we
thank my wife.
conclude-
She did a lot in my life.
Your wife,
Yeah,
Joyce,
she's
wonderful.
a pillar. No, we
Yes.
had a bad accident. She has been sick for many years, almost 18, going to hospital, whatever. But we have remained faithful to the Lord.
Wonderful.
And she's an amazing group.
Wonderful. Thank you very much for that wonderful testimony
Thank
about your transformed lives. We now come to the end of our program. You have been watching, viewing Transformed Lives program coming your way from Church of Uganda Family Television Transformed Lives program here in Kampala. In the studio, we had Reverend Canon John Kateeba. You have heard his story, which is really very, very life transforming, and that is the purpose of the program. In the studio, we have our presenter, our producer, John Mwebembezi, behind the cameras. I also want to acknowledge my fellow presenter, who is not in the studio, Edwin Kalazi, Nawe Mugole. And I recognize the work of our operations director, Yedidia Nyakahangula, and of course our own executive producer and director, Mr. Amos Mwesije. These are the people who make this program possible, and even other programs. Transformed Lives program is broadcast every Sunday from 6:30 to 7:30, and is repeated on Thursday at 11. And I encourage you to tune in. And as I conclude, I want to make a passionate appeal to our viewers to continue supporting this program. In many ways, you can support this program by praying for its success. You can also contribute your testimony. If you're out there, you have a testimony to share, please contact us, and we shall be able to organize to share the testimony. You can also support the program financially and in any other way. So until next Sunday, I wish you a good viewing. God bless you.